Welcome. I'm Mo Murray, and I'm a grateful, recovering alcoholic. And yes, I've heard all the Mo jokes. In fact, we went over a few of them the last time we chatted together. The Mo the merrier, eeny, meeny, miny, Mo, Larry, curly, Mo. But my new little book, A Driver's Manual for Drunk Drivers. Okay, it starts out, it's 8 chapters, 118 pages. And it starts out, chapter 1, titled The People of the Lie. And it deals with the fact that recovery from addiction is not denial, it's an outright lie. For example, one lie that most people use that consider themselves moderate drinkers instead of problem drinkers is, I'm always functional. I can drink, but I'm functional. Okay, let's deal with that reading from chapter 1. I'm very functional and lovable when I'm drunk. I'm just like Dudley Moore in the movie Author. Try this functionality on for size. Alcohol causes 23,000 automobile deaths each year. The legal term is guilty of vehicular homicide. And here's where the claim of functionality breaks down. Only 16% of these fatalities were caused by known chronic repeat alcoholics. The other 84%, 19,320 deaths last year, were caused by functional drinkers. The second part of chapter 1 gets into the tragic story of Audrey Kirschline. She was the founder of Moderation Management, and she was a problem drinker herself, but AA didn't work for her, so she formed her own program, appointed herself as president, and in 1993 wrote the book Moderate Drinking, the New Option for Problem Drinkers. It was an immediate bestseller, and she appeared on all the TV shows, Oprah, Dateline NBC, Good Morning America, and so forth. She spoke throughout the country. That was in 1993. In the year 2000, the tragic story of Audrey Kirschline came to be. She was driving on the same road, same Interstate 90 in Seattle, Washington, when she had her epiphany for moderation management. And she was driving the wrong way this time on March 25th of the year 2000. Her moderation management guidelines had not worked for her. Here are the moderation management guidelines from chapter 1. Males, a maximum of 4 drinks per day, a maximum of 14 drinks per week. Females, a maximum of 3 drinks per day, a maximum of 9 drinks per week. Audrey was driving the wrong way on Interstate 90. Her blood level alcohol was just under 3 times the legal limit. She had a 1/2 bottle of vodka beside her on the seat of her pickup truck. She collided with another car, killed the father and his young daughter. Chapter 1 is really a discussion between moderation and total abstinence. And we went through this as a nation with prohibition and then the repeal of prohibition. So it's an ongoing discussion. Chapter 2 is almost as sad as chapter 1 because it's entitled Tender, Loving Greed. And it's about the sorry state of treatment for substance abuse in this country today. Toward the end of that chapter, I give a suggestion, a solution to the poor treatment, and that is the Wounded Healers Club. We're 2 hatters. We're wounded, and yet we're healers. We go into that in detail, and it's a very powerful chapter to help your recovery. The next 4 chapters, starting with chapter 3, entitled Recover Your Way, deal with what I've dealt with all along in my other 2 books. And this time I've framed it with my treatment modality, and that's the acronym CAR. CAR is splattered in red between the title, A Driver's Manual for Drunk Drivers. It's the acronym for Cognitive Apprentice Recovery. Apprenticeship recovery, let me read from the back cover of the book. Incidentally, you can bring yourself up to speed with CAR and its modality by just going to Amazon.com or BarnesandNoble.com. They have inside the book. And go to those sites. It's like Cliff Notes. You'll be an expert on cognitive apprenticeship recovery within a few minutes. Reading from the back cover of the book. CAR is similar to other cognitive apprenticeship methodologies. Watch it, do it, know it. CAR's unique power to facilitate recovery is derived by adding the ingredients of the way of analogy and the concept of the singular. I had to go to philosophy to find these concepts to make this methodology work. Thomas Aquinas came up with the concept of the way of analogy. Red is red, and yet a horse is red with a horsey redness. That's the way of analogy. In your 101 philosophy course in college, you learned that there is one universal chair for the Greeks. It's the one true chair, and all other chairs are less than that beautiful universal chair. You have the particular chair, lawn chairs, folding chairs, and then you have the singular chair, which is what's vital to CAR and recovery. It's your father's old Maurice chair with a little push button on it that made it recline, that smelled like his pipe. That's the singularity. And those two ingredients really make recovery work. I'd like to go now to the seventh chapter, and it enforces the power of the subconscious mind in your recovery. The title of chapter 7 is Now I Lay Me Down to Marinate. And it has a self-hypnosis induction for your sleep time just before you fall asleep. I also quote again in chapter 7 what I opened the book with, and I repeat it again because it's so important. It's a quote from William James, and glasses on again. It's called The Greatest Discovery. William James, who's considered the father of American psychology. The greatest discovery of the 19th century was not in the realm of physical science, but the power of the subconscious mind touched by faith. Any individual can tap into an eternal reservoir of power that will enable them to overcome any problem that may arise. All weaknesses can be overcome. William James. The 8th chapter is entitled, A Funny Thing Happened on My Way to Recovery. And it's interesting that laughter is an early symptom of recovery from addiction to alcoholism. Buy my book. It costs less than a bottle of Smirnoff vodka. I'm Mo Murray. I'm a grateful recovering alcoholic. Easy does it. I hope to chat with you again soon.